Good evening, good evening. What's up, everybody? Give me 1 second. Ooh. All right, we're getting TikTok stream live up. I hope you guys are having a wonderful 4th of July. It's been a pretty awesome weekend. Um, Other than some, the bad news and the headlines, but other than that, pretty excited to kick this week off. It's gonna be a short week, but you guys may hear some popping sounds. That is a mixture of fireworks and gunfire. There. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Put this right there. Oops. Yes. All right. I'll go ahead and tweet out that I am live now. What's up? Good evening, everybody. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get my turn my music down a little bit. Japanese band. All right, there we go. Alrighty, so we're gonna cover the news really quickly. I put out a video on Meta, basically giving you guys a rundown on what I'm expecting this week, and then we're gonna go ahead and go from there. I'm gonna take your guys' request. If you have requests, you guys are here on TikTok. If you have any questions, it doesn't matter what they are, please post those in the YouTube channel so that way I can actually see them and answer them because the comment section flies by insanely fast. So if you guys are on TikTok, make sure to tap your screen. Let me borrow your thumbs just for a minute, and then the algorithm will delete me. All right, so let's get started with our news here. Again, happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend, your family. All right, so oh, that's right. We don't get one of those. Yes, make all you have to do is hit the link in my bio, and you can drop in um, on on the live trading or live chat here, so on YouTube. So that way I can actually see your comment. All right, so really, I'm just going to go over the economic calendar. There's actually no news that's 4th of July, so they don't do it today, obviously. But we got to look forward for the week or for the rest of the week. We do have data coming in. Factory orders on Monday or on Tuesday. NBA mortgage applications, IHS market services, JOLTS, FOMC meetings on Wednesday. Sheesh. So, ADP employment change, initial claims, continuing claims, trade balance, EAI gas inventories, and crude oil inventories coming in on the 7th. And then we've got all of this unemployment, non farm payroll, consumer credit all coming in. So we do have a relatively high impact data week here, second week of July. So those are probably some market moving data points that we're going to be dealing with. So is the market bearish or bullish? Well, it is technically bearish. We are in a downtrend. And if your question is whether we go up or down, beats me. I don't make money by making. I oftentimes will obviously chart, make projections, but what I really do is I'm looking for because technical analysis, as much as people want it to just be a prediction factor, it's more or less a form of risk management. Certain levels, historical levels, do come into play, so I make sure to mark those out, mark my entries, exits, stop losses, and then obviously find my contracts. DJ30 analysis, QQQ. Yes, we're going to start with the ETFs once I get done with all of this. So economic count. Well, that's pretty much it. So that's the economic calendar. Tomorrow, of course, you guys will go over some of the main headlines going into this week. But other than that, again, make sure to go check out the YouTube video that I just posted on Meta. But I will give you a brief overview as this is the only thing that I'm going to be trading again this week unless something changes. So let me give you guys just a really quick rundown. 4-hour channel moving here to the downside, marked by those blue resistance, and that's on that lower time frame. Higher time frame, we do have this lower descending channel, but at this point we are building, we have like kind of a base building. So if we move to the downside, I will likely not trade that, and the reason why is because the risk to reward is low, and from 154, depending on where we open, there's not much for me to play to the downside until we get a daily candle close somewhere underneath support, and in that case we can go ahead and start taking Meta to the downside. But I am going to be and potentially looking at Meta to move in up to the upside and actually fill its gap and hit this resistance. So we'll see how that plays out this week. But I am anticipating a potential bounce above 165. I really think that bullishness will pick up and we can see Nvidia to the upside, or Meta to the upside. So can I do Neo, Airbnb, Nvidia? I would love to take all of your guys' chart requests. The only thing that I ask for you, and I'll make sure I do, obviously I always try and take my time on these charts. But if you will just hit the link in the bio, drop in on the YouTube, just the ticker, and you can hang out on TikTok all you want, and I'll make my way down there. Just because the chat, I'm looking at the chat right here. I see you guys. I see everybody. I got two phones, one for the trade, one for the trap. Well, just kidding. um, all right. Yep. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and do QQQ, and I'm going to go ahead and do SPY. Obviously, I'm already on YouTube. Do Neo, please. I don't see any request. Oh, that's the top chat, live chat. Yeah, I don't have any request. Go to the YouTube channel where I'm live. It's Sunday Night Prep with PotterStocks. What is all that gibberish? It's gibberish if you don't know what it is. Okay, so this is Meta. Let's take a look at the cues. So we've been talking about this setup for ages. All right. Again, I still, we're not going to try to be super biased here, but this one is giving us clear levels to the up and the downside. I'm looking at 285.57 and ultimately this point of control, which is going to be around 290. And that would likely mark a break in this lower time frame downtrend, and or not a break, but a resistance tap, and that resistance is right around 296 or 296.50. All right, so 296.50. I'll drop this line right here. That is the median in what we have been watching for weeks, and that is this QQQ megaphone. Okay, and I don't usually even bother calling these out because a lot of people get really, really confused, because really the price action inside of a megaphone is kind of hard to predict. That being said, there is the possibility to move to the upside and hit that 295, 296. And from there, we'll obviously read and react. But to the downside, 275, 276, 15 to 275. The bottom of this megaphone is all the way at 261. And if you are holding those puts with me, this is going to be the week where we're going to have to make some tough decisions as far as whether we want to take profit or we want to hold through whatever resistance and just hedge ourselves to the upside. But those are speculative positions. So there's a lot of people yelling outside. All right, so SPY is essentially the same thing here. Everybody, you've got kind of like this opening channel. And I know there's a lot of lines right here. These are marking out our key levels to the up and the downside. So SPY above 387.93, and that's where I would project a move into the or around the gap at 395. The top and the fill of that gap is 401.04. So to the downside, if I'm looking for SPY to move down, that's going to be below 271.75 and ultimately below 270.50. So I'll mark that out as well. All right. All right. So I see only three requests on the YouTube channel for extra 100K invest where and figuring your education, man. So that way you don't have to ask people, dude. Because once you take control of your finances, everything changes. Would highly recommend taking prioritizing that over. You're going to end up being in a position that you have to manage yourself, and if you don't know why you're in it, then it's going to be tough. So, alrighty. So, let's take a look at the first one, which is CI. If you guys are on TikTok, make sure to tap your screen. I really do appreciate it. All right, so I have not ever traded this one, looked at this one. So this is going to be fresh charting. So we're going to start on the weekly, just like I teach you guys. This helps us get a uh, better look at the trend available to us, as well as some of these really, really crucial and key levels. So looks like below us, we've got the little supply there. That's going to be 224.85. And the bottom there, we like to mark these things out just for historical purposes. And then the top right now, or resistance, that is 273.58. Let's zoom in. All right, so looks like now this can be a very, very bullish cup and handle. One of the things that I teach people most often about resistance and support is there's a magic number, and that magic number is 3. 1, 2, 3. Ultimately, from there, you could possibly see a rejection, but rather than that, you hit this zone below you, 241.60, and you rebounded. And right now, you're looking pretty bullish here on the daily. You had little bit of a pullback and then a push to the upside. So really, that 276, and I didn't see any other highs. So this would be all-time highs for CI. Um, but too many indicators. That's because you don't that they don't work for you. Doesn't mean that they don't work for me, man. Uh, I find that embarrassing when people say that out loud to somebody else. That's so weird. I mean, I would be embarrassed if I tried to dictate how somebody trades. So anyway, got a nice engulfment here on this daily. Take a look at that. So you pulled back, hit that point of control, bounced, engulfed that entire pullback. So I would say you're going to probably head up to this 273, and then you got a psychological mark. It's 275. And then from there, I mean, it's usually, going by whole numbers. So I would say I would look at possibly 280 if you do maintain and break out of this cup and handle. So I don't have 100 indicators. I don't. You can see all of them right there. And if you have two hands, you can count them on less than 10 fingers. Alrighty. So the next one that we got, why are you in my live? That's my question. I got your attention though, I guess. That's cute. You want to go on a date? All right. So this is man, it is actually really crazy to see TSM breaking down here, but this is again where we're going to start on the weekly. Look at that. This is like the most technical double top of all time. So look at this, man. Levels are something else, y'all. Whoever wants to argue technical analysis can eat my lunch, dude. All right. So this is really cool. This is I try and teach supply and demand, and this is one of the biggest reasons why. So check out this little supply zone. You fell, right? The ceiling becomes the floor. You fell just straight through and hit that $76 mark, which really, if you take a look back, is a freestanding support, right? This is out of a break and a bull run, heavy consolidation before breaking to the upside. So it's not necessarily a really, really strong level, but I would consider possible consolidation here before moving further to the downside. Now, there are things that are beyond my predictions, which is going to be war, right? TSM, it's almost in Taiwan's like China's like, yeah, we're going to do it. So inevitably, that's probably not going to be super bullish for them long term. And I wonder if that's a possible fundamental factor that or news factor that you could possibly think about. So let's go down to the daily. Wow, so absolute free fall, and this is going into earnings. So I would actually speculate that because you hit this $76 mark, that probably tomorrow you're going to see a reasonable bounce on TSM, possibly even filling your gap up to around 81.13. And that's obviously if the market builds or moves to the upside. Let's go take a look and see if this is still in trend. It is still in trend. So take a look at that. Woo! Dude, I love technical analysis sometimes. So take a look at that. We've got a really, really nice channel to the downside. That's TSM daily. So yes, being that you are at support, I wouldn't, if the market in general moves to the upside, it wouldn't surprise me to see TSM go and retest. Anytime you break something, you are always going to retest it, always. And that's really uh, kind of like a fundamental thing. And really, the further away that you get from that retest, the more springy the action can be once you do finally bounce. So levels like $78 tomorrow could be possible entries to the upside. Of course, the gap fill at 79. And there's no promises, but this would be the range that I would expect. And of course, you are going into earnings. So that could actually send you further to the downside, or could actually, because they might have already priced in earnings, but this could actually end up just staying in range and burning premiums. Because if something's fallen to the downside, I would imagine the OI is pretty high on the puts, and it would probably be, of interest to smoke those. So, all right, let's take a look at AMD because I already have this one charted pretty well. So we're going to start on the weekly again. Obviously, we want to get a long-term scope. So this one, just like TSM, has slammed into the bottom of and is at support. So I'm going to just go off on a limb, just like most stocks right now have or are ready slamming and slammed into support. So take a look at here. This is a build from 2020, bouncing off of the $74 and $75 level multiple times. So obviously anywhere below that $75 and $74 mark, I would venture to guess that AMD is going to be on its way back to $60. But before that happens, it does appear that AMD has a falling wedge here on the daily. So I would look for, and there's some pretty reasonable targets here. I would say $80 contracts expiring 2 weeks out on AMD, maybe even go out 3 weeks. And then ultimately even 84.50 would be another retest level, but there is plenty of room to the upside. And you guys know the magic number 1, 2, 3. And what do we see here on resistance? I guess you might be able to count that as a 3, but no taps as of recent. So it's totally reasonable to possibly see AMD moving to the upside for a solid retest. So let's take a look on the lower time frame as well. So you did actually, yeah. So it would be pretty crucial to get back up above $75, fill your gap, and then find somewhere to rest inside the $78 range. So PotterStocks, what's up? What's up? Airbnb. So, ooh, damn, man. Sometimes I hate seeing my own analysis because I see that it already broke, because I did this weeks ago. And I remember getting kind of freaked out about a potential short there, but all right. Yeah, I'm at the 80. That would be above the 75 and $72 mark. I would, that would be something I have to watch it. I obviously make money only by reacting to the market live, but thank you guys for those of you who are tapping your screen. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so we're gonna have to step out here on Airbnb because this thing is an absolute train wreck. All right, so this is an untested support at 132. It's kind of hard to visualize. Um, Airbnb, but if you go zoom down here and do a little bit of candlestick analysis, you'll see that we did close back above $90. All right, so just for hanging on sake, that's good. But you did see a reversal, right? So you did bounce off of this gap down, and you ended up reversing straight back down to the downside. So really, $87 and $90 are going to be two levels for Airbnb that I would be looking for potential continuation to the downside. There's no telling. That's a company that I would probably want to look at the fundamentals and see how that may factor in, because obviously they've lost so much value since they we first saw them IPO. So little channel here, potential to the downside. Um, Here it is. Beautiful. Okay, so you do have a little bit of a falling wedge, and you did have a bearish or a bear flag type setup right here on the daily, and this is the perfect opportunity to fake out retail. So now looking at Airbnb, the beautiful thing about this is you have some pretty sweet key levels. So right here on Airbnb, that's 105.50. The median here is $99.31. That would be kind of where I would project Airbnb to go first. If we do bounce this week, and then if you did want to see Airbnb actually make a move up into its point of control around 120, you would probably have to break above this 105.75. So which indicators do I use? I use volume with a volume moving average. You can adjust that if you want. I use the EMAs, the orange, purple, and blue line. That's the 200, 50, and 20. I use the 9-day moving average here, just a simple, or a 9-day moving average. And of course, I use that mostly on the hourly and below. Pivot points, I use those occasionally if I see a stock that's kind of mostly to back myself up once I've done analysis. Like I just told you guys, that this $100, $99 mark or $98 mark, that's exactly where the pivot point is. So oftentimes that's where I'm gonna like kind of if I have already seen that level and then I put my pivot point on there and it backs me up, that's helpful also for stocks with a little bit of a messier chart. Those often can be handy on the lower time frames. I use a volume profile. This gives me volume at certain price levels rather than time increments. And then I use the 500 HMA, which is, if you don't know what it is, Google it or ask me about it later and I'll explain. So IP, I sold a call for AMD 70. You see it getting to 70. Thank you for added price too. I already did NVIDIA. If you want to see NVIDIA, go ahead and go on the YouTube and just rewind back a little bit. All right, I see your comments here. It looks like we've got Rivian. Oh, Rivian. Oh, Lord. Okay, so I already have this one charted, and this one's really interesting, y'all. So coming from our downtrend, all right, beautiful little channel. We're seeing these a lot. Now, what do you guys see here that you don't see elsewhere? These stocks, Rivian is up against resistance at the moment. Okay. Um, Most stocks are at support. So I'm curious to see if we see a little bit of liquidity drive dump out of this, and we see a loss of 24.88. I would say maybe just 24.50 would be a safer entry. Um, but I mean, I have Rivian, potentially falling pretty far if it does end up breaking to the downside. But to the upside, 30.50. Just remember it, 30.50, and then ultimately it's going to be 32.50. That's it. That's where Rivian has to go to move to the upside. And I'll go ahead and move that mark. So right about there. And then the median, of course. What is it, TikTok? Is it the angle? Okay, bye. Uh, Um, yeah, so anyway, let me go pull the pivot points last year on that one. Okay, so 22.84, and yep, $20. So that's the moves to the downside. You have a low volume pullback to support, so seeing a pop, an engulfment, and a push above $28 could be bullish for you. All right, Neo. I did not do Tesla. No, you're welcome to drop that in the chart or the chat. Okay, so Neo and its crazy elongated channel here. I don't even care about that really. This is what I'm more concerned about. Nasty fake out to the upside. Maintaining this channel here. So we've recovered this channel to the upside. Watch for Neo. Yeah, so I already see this on the hourly. So check this out. Neo. Okay, so watch for a fake out to the downside, possibly hitting $20. If it does hit $20, watch for listen. I mean, this actually may end up. Yes, I am. I am analyzing the stock market. I'm a day trader, so looking at particular levels and setups for potential plays. I only trade Meta, so if you guys are new here, I've we've absolutely crushed it. So yeah, I teach how to do it. Just to stay in. Yeah, you, literally, if you go into the Discord, I've handwritten a ton of information for free for you. Not handwritten. Well, I mean, I did it with my fingers. So, okay. So anyway, I would look for a break out of this. Looks pretty clean. Let the trade come to you. The high and the target would likely be $25 to the upside. And then if you did end up moving to the downside, I wouldn't really take a definitive position until you lose $20 or really 19.85. So, whereas the Discord link is in the bio, tons of free education in there, tons of books, thousands of dollars worth of stuff in there free. So, do you only do Meta because it's volatile? Yeah, yes. It does provide some really nice liquidity. It's a heavily traded stock, and it's also just a leader in the queues. We've got Microsoft, Google, Meta, and so it's one of those stocks that we're seeing a lot of value lost, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to track it and trade it with some pretty good efficiency. A lot of people have been learning how to do it as well, and it's been pretty cool. So. All right, so let's do Amazon next. And then after that, we'll go ahead and we'll do Tesla. So everybody, and I already said this last week, everybody is already calling Amazon a head and shoulders. And whenever you see something as like clear as that, if it looks too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So what's most important to me is the zone that we're likely building. And this could easily, I mean, this is four bounces off of support. This is how I would see this. We either, and this would obviously be the entirety of the market, we either completely reject and pull back to the downside, likely seeing a $95 Amazon, or everybody piles into the downside and they squeeze this up to resistance. Watch 112.65. 112.65. Watch that level to the upside. And then ultimately you've got 117. But above that, highly probable to go back up to 125. And everybody's looking down. And when everybody's looking down, unfortunately, that's when everybody gets clapped. So just be weary here because I do see. Actually, let's learn here. Let's take an opportunity to learn. Okay, because I know a lot of people struggle with like the dynamics or kind of like the inner workings of how certain things like this. And I want to show you because this is a really great example. So if you're taking a look at this candlestick right here, what do you notice about this, and that? Right? Your first initial bounce is relatively big. You get shorts that pile back in, right? And then they squeeze out. So every day, right? People talk about short squeezes. Short squeezes happen every single day on every stock, right? There's little mini squeezes that happen. And so what you're seeing right here is obviously people are going to TP, but there's also a lot of people who are going to take a position at support, right? What do a lot of people, retail traders have a bad habit of shorting support and longing resistance, right? When something goes green, that's when they take it. That's when it dumps. When something goes red, that's when they short it. And that's when it rejects. And so this type of energy right here is a squeeze in itself. That is literally a squeeze out. So this is beyond a triple bottom. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces off support. So this is a quad bottom. Peachy. All right. So anyway, let this play come to you, y'all. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Just wait for this to give you a clear break to the upside, and the nearest level is 113.50 if you're a day trader. That's really 113.50. Okay, 113.50, and then 116.75. All right, let's do Tesla. If you guys are enjoying the stream or just hanging out, lend me your thumbs, tap the screen. I do appreciate it. All right. Can you imagine if I had 165 people in my room right now, or like in my house? That'd be against the code, though. All right, so let's take a look here because I'm not too sure. Yeah, okay, so you're close enough. All right, so take a look at Tesla with what appears to be, excuse me, it appears to be a descending triangle. Watch for Tesla to move down 650, 649.10. All right, write these numbers down if you're watching Tesla. If you're not writing them down, then these levels are no use to you. You have 1, 2, 3 rejections off the top. You've got 1, 2 at the bottom. If you do end up breaking the 650 level, you have a key level here at 625. Easy money right there. Below 625, you've got a dumpy all the way down to 6. Actually, I'm actually going to set a couple alerts on this one, y'all, because this is something that Tesla will dump oftentimes in one day so freaking hard. It'll make it. I'm not saying that it'll, but like it could be in the next week that we see if Tesla moves down, which most charts look bearish, which scares me. But moving to the downside, right? Uh, Below 625, 620, you could see a pretty hellacious dump. So I would actually, and I'm going to add some alerts on this one. So. Do you earn a lot from trading? Yes, I do. I live comfortably beyond my means. I just bought a Tesla. I'm not like first of all, the whole thing about like make $20,000 every single no, like there's some days that I walk away with $500. There's some days I walk away with $5,000. Some days I walk away with $1,500, $2,000, and that's happy. I'm happy with that. I have my biggest gain ever in the stock market was $56,000. But I've also had a $13,000 loss in less than 30 seconds. So give and take. So I just worked 52 hours in the last 3 days. Make me rich. Jesus, dude. Well, what do you do? Damn, you got. I'm about to call your boss. What's up, William? I did that too. When I did high rise window cleaning, I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning, be at the job site at 4:30, tie everything out, and drop down, by 4:45, 5 o'clock. And then I would work until, sometimes uh, I don't know, 5, 6 at night. I did hardwood flooring in like the Nike World headquarters, and we would work 16-hour days in there just because they wanted us out there. But electrician. Okay, so we did a lot of the same stuff. Yeah, I did historical preservation for about 9 years. So I worked on houses as old as 17, like 80. It's about 7K, but that so here's a one piece of wisdom I will give you, something that changed, and if you're willing to listen, and if you have delayed gratification, which is a form of self-love if you want to be corny. But it is. If you care about yourself and your investments, just take this, maybe it's not advice, but just take this for what it's worth. I knew at some point that I couldn't manage a lot of money as a new trader. There was too much emotional callus that needed to be built, and I didn't have it yet. And so I would take 500, 250. This is well documented on my Instagram and stuff like this, but I would take these small accounts and I would pull them up to about $10,000 in like 3 weeks. And then what I realized is after $10, I had this weird psychological wall where I would just crumble, fall apart, and start losing money, and oftentimes blow the whole account. I did that 7 times. I hit $10,000 7 times. So I lost $70,000 in potential gains. And then I had an epiphany. I was like, okay, I'm good at this. I'm good at this right here. and I'm good at maybe one or two things, and they work when I do them, but when I change, it doesn't, and everything, and then I lose track of everything. So what I did is I every time I hit $10,000, or even if I felt like I was about to start losing money, or I felt like I was sliding, I pulled that money out and I restarted from 250. If you know that you have more to learn, if you're humble enough to accept that you still have more time in the market, and if you're understanding that most people who advertised you options advertised you immediate gains, it doesn't happen. I don't. The first, they always give you, the market will give you one account. After that, your ass is grass. And so I just take it for what it's worth. But it's something that really changed my trading. It changed my life, and not to be, I don't like saying that shit because it's corny, and I'm not trying to advertise anything because this is just my story. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind here. So anyway, let's get back to some analysis here. Bo, that's great advice. I love that. So you can take an account low. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I took so what I would usually start with was 250 to 500. Um, and I would swing trade because PDT would obviously lock me down. So what I would do is I would day trade 3 days out of the week, and I would swing trade into the next day if I saw, and I had a couple of things that I looked for. Obviously, I needed to know the daily setup, the trend. I'm a trend trader. It needed to be broken out of range, and it also needed to have an hourly candle close above the 9-day moving average and VWAP. Um, and then I would take a swing trade with a contract that expired next week, no weeklies. I did obviously slip here and there, but I'm a human. And that was kind of like my core, like rules or center. And so sticking with that, yeah, I was able to build an account repeatedly until obviously blowing those one after another. I can tell you guys right now, I was depressed, like saddened to my core. Like I thought that, like I was like I literally thought I was a failure, and then I realized like you're a dumbass. You are a dumbass. You literally just turned 250 into 10,000. Just figure out the equation, cancel out the part that sucks, and focus on what works. And so I just realized that I was going to take the money before the market did. So anyway, yeah, all of it's in the Discord. If you're new, stay in the free part. We have a premium side. There's my signals, or whatever you want to call them. My analysis is free. My Discord, a lot of people haven't noticed this, but my Discord where I signal is and do analysis is free. There's 7 other people who obviously they have to be compensated for their time. But and of course, they get paid to do so, but that's not of interest to you if you are new. You don't need to be paying for anything or buying any tools until you're ready to use them, or if you ever need them, because you don't. Some people don't need them. So yeah, this is recorded. He doesn't answer. I was just talking, and if I've got ADHD, so if I answer one question, then everything Psyche R. I think you just wanted me to say your name. Now that I kind of look at that, Jody. Jody. There, you got a little bit of intention. I did get AMD. Did I lose my money on Voyager? I don't know about that. Do ASPN. That stock is, never mind. I'm using TradingView. All right, let's keep going with Tesla. All right, so watch Tesla. Remember the gap filled at 650, 644. Watch a little bit of a leg down here, possibly at 650.50, 650.50. Remember it. Remember it. Okay. Alert set on that one. Move to the upside. Watch 710. Watch 710. I'm telling you, in the morning, that would be the level to reject. So if you're looking for a rejection, watch 710. I'm going to set an alert on that too. So actually, I'm going to write this down. I don't trade Tesla, but this is one of those setups that almost is kind of irresistible. I may have to day trade or scalp it. Okay, so I'm going to write this down really quickly. So watch 710 rejection for Tesla. One time I bought like a lot of money's worth of TLSA and not TSLA. It's a long time ago, but He figured out what he was good at and stopped, then started back up. Exactly. You just have so everybody, there's so much out there, guys. There's so many people doing this, and I just want people to know that that feeling that you have that you just don't know shit, like that goes away at some point when you start trusting yourself and start building something for yourself. Everybody wants you to, and that's the whole goal for us, is like we want you to leave. We want you to not rely on us. If anything, we're just the news or an indicator or a scanner. But like at the end of the day, people have made it seem so intimidating, but it's really one of those things. It's more psychological. Everybody can learn about the same strategies, and you have to figure out what works for you. And you have to go with your gut and try something. And you put a little bit of skin out there, but not enough where you're going to get screwed. But here's the thing: if you're struggling financially, the bad news is you've got to find something to bring in a little bit more liquidity for yourself so you're not putting the pressure of your survival on trading. And that's the hardest part about this is you have to have delayed gratification, use small amounts of money that you can detach from so that way you can make better decisions as a trader. So what's up with this white boy trying to catch this drive? Dude, I will drop this whole entire live right now. And I will literally come over there right now onto your digital land. If anybody's got Golf Plus on the Meta on Oculus, you're welcome to join us on the golf course. I may give you a one-on-one on the. You know what? Maybe I should do a one-on-one on the golf course. Alrighty, so that's Tesla, guys, to the upside above 710. Watch resistance 730 and 773. So DJ Heart Rock, PotterStocks, thank you. 703 resistance. So remember if you have an oddball resistance like that. So 70, so let me see. You've got 703. Let me see, because I mean I could be wrong. I do see. Yep. Okay, so that pull that down just a hair, that's 700. So go, don't ignore those tiny, look at the go, you'll be able to see this May 12th. Go look at that body candle close and drop a line on that body. And then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That's 700. So it's always going to usually be around a psychological number. So not usually. Guys, if you guys see, if you will do me a favor, if you guys like my streams, Trading with Manners, right there, he just commented. Make sure to go follow him. All right, he's one of the best scalpers I know. Um, he's a beautiful man. All right, let's keep it moving. Do your EMAs stay consistent between time frames like daily EMAs on the hourly, or is taking the EMAs from your current time frame basing it on the hourly candles resistance? You can do that. You can make sure that they stay so that way you know. So that's actually a great question, John, because if you're looking at daily setups and you're trading with contracts that are out long, it may be better when you go look at the hourly to still see the EMAs in the same place, and you can make that happen, but they do oscillate on time frames. So pick the law, the popo up. Oh, all right, let's keep it moving. Apple. Can stock go up tomorrow? I love that question. Yes, they can. That chart is way too messy. These are old charts. Thank you for your judgment. Nope, 87654, whatever your name is. It's very meaningful, and I love it. Chart US 30, the ape is asking. Get out of here, Manny. Don't make me do that degenerate stuff. That the future stuff. Ugh. What do I look like? Chart monkey chart. All right. So let's take a look at Apple downtrend. Looks like a falling wedge here on the daily. Remember we talked about the potential kind of like inverse head and shoulders type deal, but here's the flat basics here. 141. I'm just going to give it 141. So above 141, I think that you have clearance up to 144. And then from there, obviously, the top of that supply is 150, but you have to take it level by level, day by day. This does kind of look like it's your trend at the moment. Okay, so there we go. So there's Apple for you. A little bit of a triangle type setup right now. Again, just a break above that 141, and you should see a run up to this 143.44 and 145, 145. So I am not using e-signal for charting. Say it's messy, but he's making money like Potter. Yeah, a lot of people look at my charts, as long as it makes sense to you. Listen, don't give a shit about what bitter people talk about. There are people who have had what happens to them, right, is they'll chart, their charts are messy. They don't know they've got shit going all over the place. Shit never works out for them. They lose money, and in their brains, they built a new neurological pathway to associate those things with losing money, and just so they because it didn't work for them, it can't work for anybody else. And so I just don't give a rat's ass about anybody who, if they don't like the way that I make money, because it's those type of doubts that if I listen to, all of a sudden the money that I was making starts to go away. So I don't care. I'm willing to listen to I'm open-minded enough to listen to criticism, even learn something new from somebody who's been doing it less time than me. I'm not going to ever be that guy, but I don't care about that type of shit. So, and you shouldn't either. So, uh, why is this happening? I will say though, this Herman Miller makes me actually want to stay on there. Did you say Potter looks like 007? Like 007? I don't. What does he look like? Nah, that guy's wait. He's got to wait. His jawline's all. He could cut glass with that shit. Gang, gang. I don't know that. I'm not throwing no gang signs. Oh, from Stranger Things. Yeah, I've had people tell me that I look like that guy. I haven't watched it. All right, what's next? All right, we've got TLT Treasury bonds. Why? Another chart. Not that I would have ever played this, but it did end up moving to the upside there. So I see this, which is pretty wild looking. That is your resistance. This is your support, and you are channel trading to the upside. So watch for a potential pullback here. You've hit your resistance. Watch for a gap fill 113. Excuse me, 113.95. After that gap fill, you've got a oops. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Um, why not? Why not you trade in forex? It's just not my thing. I already did Apple. If you want Apple, Tesla, Neo, a couple of other ones I forgot already. TSM. I've done all of those. Go check the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. All right. So anyway, I would see this one possibly. That's a reversal candle here on the 4 hour. So I would look for a break below 114, and you're possibly going to see that gap fill back to support. Where you go from there, I would watch for another bounce, maybe a push to the upside, or a break below that 113.75. The next one we got is Disney. Disney. Oh, I already have this one charted from ages ago. There we go. And I know this is probably going to be messy, so for a lot of people, because it could be hard to see. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off. Support 92.25. That's below you. Resistance right here. Nearest resistance is 98.23. Hold on one second. Who is reaching out to me? If you sit in a chair for a long period of time, get a Herman Miller. It is the best thing that I've ever bought in my life. Why am I refusing to do DJ30? I'm not. I'm taking requests off of YouTube. That's what I said at the beginning of the stream. I'll take a look at it in a minute. All right. So anyway, Disney, $92 to the downside, and your target is likely 86, 83, depending on the timing, $86. To the upside, you need to break above $100. And then you've got this median right here, and that's at 102.72. So yes, YouTube is in the link in the bio, or the link in the bio is where the YouTube's at. All right, so you want me to do so the Dow Jones, I don't know which one you like to use. We'll go with this one, I guess. What goes around, goes around. All right, got a channel here, right here. Is it simple stacks? Yes, simple stacks. All right, so I would actually say because this one's pretty interesting setup right here. Watch for the Dow to run up to this resistance. So watch for a push to I guess that's 32 32.2. Um trying to see exactly where that's at. I don't ever chart this. So 322.40. So watch 322.40. This actually kind of looks like the beginning of a bear flag. So take a look at this. But this is possibly your channel to the upside. So watch for a break up here. 32 or 322.2. Somewhere in that range right up in here because 323.50. There you go. 323.50. That's going to be the level to watch to the upside on the Dow. So I don't know. This is not usually where I chart the Dow. All right. So Potter, you think we could squeeze up this week before more downside? Sub that shit harder than a diamond. Yo, Honda Land, appreciate you. Very much. Can I chart IWN? Yeah, I can do that. SPX and NDQ. One, yes, I do think that there's possibility for some squeeze action. We do have a lot of economic data coming in this week that could drive us potentially. We could run up. We also are going into earnings season, so there's a possible reason to whip up anyway. But I just see so many hurdles. So just as of course, hang out with us live. We're going to trade live tomorrow, and we'll figure out what the market's going to do. Tomorrow's open, and then where we gap up is ultimately most important to me. So, yep, Jobs Friday. Here's the economic calendar here, briefing.com. I need to become an affiliate by them. But we've got JOLTS FOMC on the 6th. We've got initial claims, continuing claims on the 7th. We've got unemployment, non-farm payroll, hourly earnings. So we've got a lot coming in this week. So obviously, you guys need to stay on your toes. Yeah, I have alerts set on TCRT. I see you all over the strings, man. You're consistent. I'll give you that. Yo, yo, what is going on with Oh my God, dude, I got a spammer in the YouTube channel. Jesus. This is ridiculous, dude. Like, does anybody click on that shit? Alrighty. Um, this info is invaluable. Thank you, my friend. Taking notes. Awesome, man. Simple Stacks is the name of the YouTube channel. So Drinking a beer and hanging with you, bro. Awesome. Thanks, Hugo. I might pour a glass of wine. I'm gonna hang out on TikTok after I get done charting and just answer questions. So you guys are welcome to hang out for that. I'm probably gonna actually I do after that I'm gonna golf with Manny. But I know there's a couple of us students watching right now. Robert, all of you guys, if you watch this later on, I mean it. I'm gonna be on your butts. I want to see your watch list, almost like you guys are posting analysis for somebody else to take. So I want you guys to make sure to fill up those channels. So, um, ever hear of Mr. Topstep? No, no, I'm not. All right, so let's keep it moving. I don't like being on the Dow. It's gross. I'm trying. Okay, Lee Auto. You guys remember the pain? I know a couple of people still held that, and I think I called for a bounce at 36, but this one does kind of look like it's flagging out here. So peep the flag energy. Let's go to the 4 hour, clean it up anytime something's looking kind of ugly. So there's no support there. This is your support. Let's go. Actually, let's clean this chart up really quickly. Yeah, that's right. I don't have support. We're really far away from support. Sorry, I was just moving the camera. Beautiful. Okay, so here's bullish, here's bearish. Ready? $39. Obviously, $40 is always going to be a psychological target. Watch the break over 40. That's obviously bullish. And then again, if you even push up and around the 38 or $39 mark, you could consider that a break out of this flag. That being said, there's always 4080 or this resistance. You need to keep your eyes peeled on that. And then below 3624, you have support around $35 even. There's a gap to fill at 33, and I do have a projected support leading this one possibly back down to $30. So, all right, that's Lee Auto. The next one is no. China's been going up. They're most of their stocks have been moving to the upside. So I'm not buying them, but do you use supply and demand? Yes, 100%. It's essential. Speaking of, we've got a nice little zone forming right here on JPM. We've got a top here at 117.85. We've got the bottom right here at 111.60. You did have some wicks down. There's a gap that has not yet been filled. That's at 115. Point of control is at 116, and again, resistance is at 117.75. Ultimately, this is the JPM channel. So this is actually beautiful. This is how I set my long targets. This is literally how I trade right here. If this was Facebook, if this was anything, right? I am literally what I have right now is beautiful because above this mark 117.75, I've got a point of control sitting in confluence with my resistance at 123. So I would look for entry there, or I would start adding, right? So there's people who wait for the break and there's people who get in before and then they have the chance to get out. So above that gap fill or above 115, you could look at potentially entering some long expiration contracts. And then if you do end up getting that break, do what you need to do. Then to the downside, at the same time, below that 110 mark, there's a drop all the way to 105. And of course, that's, it could probably going to last longer. So you could see $100. But so that's the beautiful thing about this right now is it's got some pretty sick looking levels, clean entries and exits as far as long positions are concerned. So, bro, these scammers in the chat, man, are absolutely insane, dude. Yeah, Lee Auto is unfortunately, I'm not very good at it trading it. All right. All right, YouTube. I've pretty much made my way down the entirety of this chart. I'm going to go ahead and knock out a few, but I'm going to go ahead and just hop over here on TikTok and finish the night there. I'm going to try and answer some more questions about the building of small accounts and whatever questions people have. I'm going to answer a few of those, and then of course we will commence in the morning. All right, so utilities. Let's take a look at it. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's crazy looking. No cat. My son, he's 8 years old, and he tells me to stop the cat. You know how that feels. I'm in a new generation of parenting. I love it. All right, so I don't want to go off. This is actually a pretty crazy looking chart, so I don't want to go off and get too crazy on you here, but it does look as if utilities might be heading back to the upside, and you've got a pretty interesting downtrend where you may do that. Ultimately, I see above $75 that we could see utilities heading up to about $78, depending on the timing. I'm not sure that the exact date in which it's going to get there, but that's a pretty solid setup right here, moving to the upside. And I would say that obviously, if you do see a rejection, that you would pull back and see a break. But listen, when you see these type of crazy setups, remember that wedges, right? So this was a smaller time frame wedge. Remember that wedges, in their definition, talk about how they extend and frustrate traders, and that's exactly what you see here. Song's so good. I don't know what these people are saying, but sounds good. All right. So anyway, yeah, keep that in mind. It's actually a pretty cool looking chart. I would definitely, if you're a utility trader, or even if you're just a sector trader, this one looks like it might end up having some strength here, up into the close to $80 mark. So. What direction do I think the market goes tomorrow? I think that because of the lack of data, that we could actually see a decent move, bounce possibly. But listen, I only make and have been making money in this market by not going all in on my own analysis. I am a human that is going to make mistakes, so I always wait for the pre-market open right before we're about to go into the bell, and that gives me an idea of what price action can occur from there. If you get a small gap up, almost every single time you're going to gap fill and drive to the downside. Not all the time, but if the setup gives you that downside move, it's obviously something to look for. But yeah, so the market will go up and down, exactly, and I'm going to make money by trading whichever way it does. Okay, so you can make predictions, you can have analysis, but you don't need to be putting too much stock in it, pun intended. But you don't want to put, so like, for example, right? Uh, this is again going to lead me into just answering those questions for you guys. But like, let's say we see Meta, right, and it's bounced off support, and so I decided that I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm going to take calls. Um, Let's go. Hold on 1 second. Oh, shit, I just moved all the way back. So I could make a prediction, right, that Meta is going to bounce off of support, right, and just take the calls. At the end of the day, right, if I just took a full size position, I'm ultimately going to not be able to handle the pressure if I'm wrong. Because if you go into a trade, it basically invested in your own idea and not the price action, that's where, if the price action doesn't meet your expectations, ultimately that can cause you to fail. So All right. I do trade options, yes. All right, guys. With that, it is 9:20. We've been rocking on here since 8:15. So I'm gonna answer a few questions here on TikTok. So if you guys want to hop over there, always welcome to do so. Probably gonna hang out just for a few minutes and then get ready for tomorrow. So I thank you guys very much for subscribing, tuning in. Make sure to reshare these videos whenever we do go live if you know anybody who might be able to benefit from them. Yeah. How long did it take for you to go from 250 to 8K? Usually about 2 to 3 weeks. Pretty good at it.